Number 1, civil target is flash 4, barrage 065, 20 low. Overwatch.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome, John, Little Twisted, Thomas. Who else we got in here? We got Curtis. Oh, so everybody's starting to slide in. How you doing there, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing great. We had just got home from a high school baseball game. We had a good walk-off 7-6 win tonight in the bottom of the seventh. And so when you're winning, all's good, right? So
yeah, right. I got on a tangent the other night. I was watching on Facebook, and people were touting and egging President Trump about eggs.
Yeah.
But how come he's not fixing the egg shortage? I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? I'm like, it wasn't Trump. You morons.
Trump didn't cause it.
It was Biden.
So
it was the Biden administration, and it's like, you voted for Biden. And I'm just like,
and the thing is, the last 2 weeks I've got free eggs. I got a local farmer. I said, I said, the kid to bring him to school. I said, Dad said you don't have to pay for them. Well, I'm going to give you something for them. But
you're right. Man, I went off. It's just like people. So, anyways, so what have you been up to, Mike?
Oh, a couple things outside of coaching high school baseball. That season, is upon us. But the couple weeks ago on the show, and last week, I apologize. I had a last-minute emergency that kept me from being on it. But a couple of weeks ago, I talked about going out to a student's property to do some investigation. Where we shared some of the evidence that he found, some of the stuff that the snow tracks and stuff like that. You remember?
Right.
Matt L. Frank, my buddy, and I got out there, and Braden's in 9th grade, and his brother's in 3rd grade, so they were our guides. And he said, where you want to go first? I said, let's go to the creek bottoms. You got a creek? Let's go to the creek bottom. They'll travel the creeks. And we were able to find and substantiate 2 sets of footprint tracks, one 20-inch, one 16-inch. And I showed the boys how to find them, how to track, and like we had like a 40-yard stretch going along parallel to that creek to where, in spacing properly, we could see, in the grass and the leaves where there's about 6 or 7 prints.
Wow.
And you could have strung them up along that 40-yard stretch to a straight line as they would walk.
Wow.
And like I said, you're not going to find one, 4 or 5 foot, then look another 4 or 5 foot and see what you see. And then we found about 6 or 7 impressions over about a 40-yard stretch that would follow that straight line pattern. And it wasn't anything that was castable, as they were probably, it had rained the night before. And as the night before is when we had the tornadoes come through.
Right.
So that was fun. To get to show those kids that they come right through on your property. And I talked to the parents, and they've got 400 head of cattle on that property.
Wow.
And then I said, well, you you ever miss any cattle? You ever lose any cattle? Well, I said maybe about 3 a year. Just there's no trace of them. They go missing. There's no trace of them, and we try to figure out, um, you know, how that's happening. And they said, "Well, contact the neighbors and tell the neighbors, we're missing it's usually about a mid-sized calf, is what they said. Not a full grown, but about a mid-sized calf." And neighbors say, "Oh, well, we had one missing here a while back, same thing." I said, you're probably supplementing their diet. I said, but if you have 400 head of cattle, a couple cows here and there, isn't going to make a difference.
No.
Well, but anyway, but that was, and they said, come back to the property anytime. But a couple other, our buddy Tom Cantrell has a new book coming out next month.
Yes, he does.
Called Sasquatch America. And I have contributed a chapter to it. My sister Becky has contributed a chapter to it. My buddy Matt L. Frank that I mentioned has contributed a chapter to it. And Tom also asked me, and I have written the foreword for the book. So we're looking forward to that coming out.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just got the confirmation today that let's see, June 21st this year is when they have the Big Muddy Monster Festival over across the river in Murfreesboro, Illinois. Everybody's heard of the Big Muddy Monster.
Yeah, we did a special on that, remember?
Yes, and I am one of the speakers this year. So,
well, congratulations!
I'm on the speaker list. So June 21st.
That's awesome.
Joe Turry, the UFO guy, is on it, and a few others. So
awesome.
Looking forward to it.
So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to test Mike Scott's information and knowledge. So you are a teacher, correct?
Right.
All right. So what do you know about Gettysburg?
Well, I'm not an American history teacher, but I do teach American literature. I do know, the course of the Civil War battle,
right?
And then Lincoln going back to Gettysburg to commemorate the battle, the national park, given his Gettysburg address,
right?
The 7 years ago, and outside of that, I'm not too familiar with it.
Is there Bigfoot there?
If there is water, food, and cover, probably.
Right. So we actually
that's all across the country. All across the country.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have water source, food source, and cover. You're gonna have Sasquatch.
Say John Stewart says there's howling and there's whoops, and somebody in the background's going. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest tonight. Her name's Marina. Did I say that right?
We'll have to ask Marina if you said it right.
I always get the names wrong. Come on down. Welcome. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Great.
So introduce yourself. Tell us a little about yourself.
All right. My name's Marina. I like to say I've lived all over the country. I've traveled a lot. Got experiences from all over the world pretty much. But like you said, Gettysburg is definitely my go-to. I love it out there.
Right. So what do you do for fun?
Honestly, I'll take my dog to the park whenever I get the chance. Other than that, I'm working.
So what do you do in your extracurricular activity?
What, like work-wise or
investigation-wise?
Ooh, okay. I've done quite a bit actually. Most of the time it's always been like me and a couple of friends or kind of going by myself. I'm terrified of the dark, so it like makes it even more like I'd like to say better. Because I feel like things like bigger things tend to happen when you're on edge because A, they're trying to scare you, and B, you're more open to things. So I've noticed that whenever I'm by myself, I actually get a lot of good stuff. But so far I've been to Hawaii, We've investigated in a bunker down there. I've done Gettysburg, done Waverly Hills.
So you're a
We
ghost
actually,
investigator.
like kind of, sort of. Whenever I get the chance, I definitely enjoy it. So I'd
So what
probably do
got you
that over.
into that?
I'm sorry.
What got you into it?
I don't know. I honestly I think it was more like growing up. I loved watching Ghost Hunters and Paranormal State was a big one. Just anything with like the paranormal, I loved. Yeah, it's real weird.
So what kind of experiences do you encounter while you're investigating?
I'm trying to think. I've noticed that I've gotten quite a bit of talking, especially in Gettysburg, and like I'd never been able to get that anywhere else. Like for Waverly, I don't know. I mean, I've got like little things here and there, but Gettysburg was definitely like the hitting point for me. I've got names, um, just all kinds of wild stuff.
So I
the
noticed this.
talking, the
Go ahead,
ghosts,
Mike.
the ghosts are talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
noticed when Mike and I were talking about whoops and hollers. You're like,
Yes. So I actually lived in Pennsylvania for a while. And like basically the Appalachians was my backyard. We would
oh,
always hear all kinds of wild stuff like screaming and yeah, I remember one time my ex-husband actually called the police because we lived on a farm and and it was like the mountains and he was terrified because we couldn't figure out what was making this noise and the cop that answered was like, well, I mean, there's animals out there, there's not much we can do as long as there's no one being hurt.
I was gonna say, if it's just a noise alone, they're not gonna come out to that
Yeah,
car.
it was so scary though because it was like it was echoing through the mountains and it was so loud.
Oh, we've heard them.
Yeah, yeah, it was scary. It was definitely scary.
Did they ever say it was Bigfoot?
No, they didn't even come out. They thought we were crazy. They probably wrote our house down like, don't answer these calls anymore.
Yeah, trust me, we had locations on people's. Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah.
the key to that is he's an ex-husband now, right? So
Yeah. But I mean, I actually went with him to Gettysburg too, and we walked through the cemetery in the middle of the night, and that was pretty cool. It was actually kind of more peaceful.
I'm a big scaredy cat.
I'll go camp out with Bigfoot, but I'm not sure I'd do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fun.
Now you sent me 2 videos. I'm gonna play the first one. And welcome, Angela Frankoff. How you doing? So what happens in this first video?
So in the first video, we are at a home. They called it the murder house, and this woman, her name was Deborah. She got murdered by her boyfriend in like the 80s. And for some reason, she really likes bald men. So
Grizzly, you're
yeah.
luck.
Well, come to find out, her boyfriend that murdered her was a bald man.
Oh
So
my gosh.
she didn't want nothing to do with me, but when she seen him, like those rods were opening and closing.
Wow.
I remember at one point the rods were touching his shoulders.
Wow.
And like they had beads on them, so there was no way you could sit there and maneuver them.
Okay, and action. Looks like he's nervous.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he kept saying that he could feel like electricity in his hands. It takes a little bit. That's wild. Just seeing his face, he was shocked.
Yeah, that would shock me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was you asking?
Honestly, I can't remember. It was mostly It was actually kind of weird because I was playing Fleetwood Mac because I did some research before I went in there, and I guess Debbie really loved Fleetwood Mac. And I want to say Gypsy was playing in the background, and they say that she tends to like come to the people that are playing it. And he was just asking like, "Are you in here?" Just like basic questions. Like if you're close, can you open the rods? Can you close them? Like yes, no questions. And she was on it.
Oh my Lord, you got a fan already.
What did he say?
Calm
Oh
down,
my God.
Virgil.
Make sure to bring your purse.
Oh my Lord. All right, the next video, I can't believe Virgil said that. Next video and action.
Yeah, shoot it again. It's wild.
I saw the dowsing rods move.
Yeah, and it was weird too because it was like right at the end, like right when I looked away is when they started to move.
It's moving upward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. It was a lot of sadness in that house though. Like just the way she passed was it was
What's
it
the
was sad.
history on it?
So the backstory that I was able to find was that her and her boyfriend were big goers to the bar. So they went to the bar all the time. Um,
Oh,
well, Debbie ended up going without her boyfriend and he got really protective. He showed up at the bar. A guy was talking to her. And he either got like super close or he touched her. And the boyfriend like tried to fight this guy, ended up getting kicked out. And I guess at some point he went home, grabbed a weapon, was gonna go back to
oh,
the bar. She walked through the door, he shot her.
Wow.
Yeah, it
wow.
was a really sad story. But they actually say that her dad is actually in the home too, from what they've seen and investigated.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a really sad story.
Unbelievable.
Hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
So,
I thought it was kind of cool to see something like outside of like the war era. But
oh, yeah, absolutely. So, what you think about Gettysburg, about the history and some of the evidence you collected?
um, I love it. I absolutely love Gettysburg. I swear by it. Like I would go any chance I get. Um, I will say, like, I know we got a lot of stuff with Debbie video wise. I would say for my experience was when we went to the farmhouse. So it was used as a Union field hospital. And that is where I got the scary stuff. Um, so I remember we were using, I can't remember what it's called. It what is that thing that like sends out the radio pulsation or the radio static? I can't think of what it's called.
Oh, the spirit box.
Yes, so we were using a spirit box and I was holding it. And at this time we lived in Ohio. So we drove from Ohio all the way to Gettysburg. And I remember like I was sitting there talking to it and I was like, is there anybody in here with us? And it was just like fluctuating through radio stations. And you can decipher like a normal voice from a radio station to a person talking.
Right.
And I had someone come on there and they said hello. And I'm like,
Oh,
hello? Like, who is this? And all you hear is like, it just flares out like Toledo. And I'm like, what? Like, what about Toledo? And then it says Austin. And I'm like, oh my God, like we got an Austin from Toledo. And then I asked, do you have any family there? And they said no. And once I started talking to one of the guys that was like normally there and they investigate all the time, I guess a lot of the Union soldiers were getting mixed up with the Confederates. So they were losing track of their people and they were just bringing everybody to these places. And a lot of them came from like the Ohio, Pennsylvania, like all that area. So that was definitely interesting.
Mike, what do you think about the paranormal world?
Um, I, I, I don't have a great interest right now in going out and investigating it and doing all that stuff. And I say that because I barely have enough time to do the Bigfoot stuff is what I like. But the spirit world exists. And you know, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So
When you're at Gettysburg, I have to ask, do you see
Mhm.
orbs?
Oh, all the time. When we were actually at the farmhouse, so they have this big old fence, and they always tell people, like, whenever they go to the house, they just want to concentrate on the house, but they always say look in the fields, because like it's crazy because you could see like little orbs just floating around the trees, and like they're quick, like if you're not paying attention they'll
yeah.
just pass you by like that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of orbs out there for sure.
Now, have you studied the orbs, Marina? Have you studied them any of the, to see like get patterns and things like that?
I've looked into it because I'm a very big skeptic on orbs. I'm like, oh, that's a bug, that's a glare. Like I dig into it as hard as I can. But when there's stuff that I can't explain.
When you see them, you can't deny you're seeing them. I mean,
Mhm.
bugs don't get that big around,
Yeah.
and from a distance they might look like that, but I mean,
Mhm.
I've only seen them associated that I know of with Bigfoot activity, and but I don't always see them with Bigfoot. I mean, just when I have seen them, it's been associated with that,
Yeah.
but I, yeah, I'm still trying to get the explanation for why we're seeing that. But
Yeah.
and I just, like in your situation with the paranormal and seeing the same thing, I just wonder what the parallels are.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like the way I like to think about it is it's just like their energy. That's like as much as they can put out so
Yeah.
that they are able to be seen. Um, that's the way I like to think of it. But yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially when you cannot explain it and there's no lights.
And if anybody on the chat has any information to add on that with these orbs, I'm willing to listen to you or read you.
Yeah.
Virgil Kane wants to know, Marina and Mike, could they be ball lightning?
What is that?
Now,
Like, would that happen in like a storm? Because I mean, the nights were clear. I don't go out there.
if that has to be associated with a storm,
No.
no, because we're talking good weather. I'm
Hmm.
not
Right.
out there doing. I'm
No
not out
thunder,
there
no
during the
lightning.
storms.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, and the dictionary definition for the orbs is some type of gaseous elements in the atmosphere that would cause that glowing and things like that, which and that's the natural occurrence. But I've only seen the natural occurrence associated with Bigfoot activity, and you've seen the natural occurrence associated with the paranormal activity. And how come I'm not seeing it otherwise?
Yeah.
That's my question. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when you're out there in Gettysburg, I have to ask, do you ever hear twigs breaking, trees shaking?
Most definitely. When we were walking around the cemetery, it's actually really sad. So they have a lot of the unmarked graves like on the border of the
Right.
cemetery. And there's like a big wood line on that pretty much. It's just trees. And you literally have to walk into the woods just to get to the cemetery pretty much. Sorry, I was reading that. He said baloney, not gas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like you can hear footsteps behind you, like beside you. It's wild out there for sure.
Do you ever hear grunts or anything?
No, but I did have a spirit tell me to open the door.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we were actually at the that field hospital house. So the farmhouse, we were there, and there was people walking downstairs because it's 2 stories, and like all I hear is just people walking downstairs. And they were the other people that were with us, and the person that I was with in that other video, I asked him, I was like, close the door. And next thing you know, and I'm scared of the dark. It's pitch black. All I hear is like this little machine telling me, no, open. And I'm like, oh my God, like open that door. Do not close that door. Like, it terrified me. Whatever it was, did not want that bedroom door closed at all.
Wow.
So did you opened it back up?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Little Twisted wants to know, when you're out in Gettysburg, do you ever hear owls?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How loud?
You know what I'm thinking, don't you?
Yeah, how loud are the owls?
Ooh. Wait. Are we thinking like extraterrestrial?
I'm thinking Bigfoot.
We're thinking Bigfoot.
Sasquatch.
Okay.
I mean, if it's a real loud, like an 800-pound owl,
No.
you hear it echo. You can, from even from a distance away. Or maybe an owl.
Look at her thinking. Look at her thinking.
Maybe an
Yeah.
owl in a baritone type voice.
You know what? That's kind of like what it sounded like when I was telling you guys about the mountain story.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that
See what I'm
You
saying?
get a little deeper voiced owl than your little bitty barred owl.
Yes. Yes. See, but it was weird because it was a little high pitched, but I don't know, like you can tell whatever was doing it, it like came from the loins. Like it was like coming out.
Yeah.
She said the loins.
Yeah, it came from the loins.
And those barred owls, they don't have a lot of loins to really give you.
Yeah, no.
I think you're hunting Bigfoots and ghosts at the same time.
I must be. I gotta be hunting something because Lord, that's scary.
Yeah, the footsteps, the twigs breaking. Do you ever get things thrown at you?
No.
Rocks, twigs, pine cones.
No, but I was expecting it when I went to Waverly. I thought something was gonna get thrown at me, for sure. But no, nothing yet.
Huh. Have you ever seen glowing red eyes or glowing eyes?
Absolutely not. I would run. Nope. Absolutely not. I'd be terrified.
Well, because there are a lot of reports of Bigfoot and Sasquatch up there around the battlefield, especially around the graveyards that you're going to.
Yep. Especially with like the Allegheny Forest for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's interesting, Mike.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And I'm sure there's something out there.
And you go out in the woods by yourself?
Yeah.
You got ovaries of steel.
No. I mean,
I don't
know.
I don't do it alone. No,
you're girl. I'll go with you, but that's crazy. And Mike's lives in Kentucky.
I'm telling you, you got to take me with you one of these times.
Oh, hey, we're going to Salt Fork at the end of April, Ohio.
Where's that at?
Ohio, a Bigfoot conference. We're going to go out in the woods, and
I might be into that. That would be
fun.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of Bigfoot around there. They it's crazy.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, Salt Fork be cool.
I can't believe you go out in the woods by yourself. I don't go out in the woods by myself at night.
I mean, I'm not like going in like deep. Like, I mean, I'll probably go in maybe like not even a half mile because I don't want to get lost.
Yeah,
but sometimes I'll just sit there.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Mike's shaking his head.
I'm looking at a little Twisted's comment there, but I don't. I'm not going to go out there by myself.
No.
I always want to partner with me because.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But,
or like take your dog with you or something just in case.
Well, it's not like I don't think. I mean, I've been around these in the certain areas I do the Sasquatch, and I've been around them enough. I don't think they're going to hurt me. But I've got a bad knee. If I were to fall, something were to happen, my knee buckles up and I fall or so, and I'm up there by my, I just have a partner just in case.
Well, I've got good news, Mike. Did you have T-Mobile?
No, my cell service is AT&T. But what's your good news?
Good news is I was during the beta testing with T-Mobile for Starlink. So starting July, if I have no cell phone service, I'll automatically switch over to Starlink on my cell phone.
Okay.
Wow.
So no matter where I'm at, the mountains, the woods, I have cell phone service now.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
good.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. See, because before I was getting ready to go out and buy me the Starlink set up, to have internet. I don't have to worry about it now.
Wow.
So
That's definitely something good to have because that's like my biggest fear is getting stuck out there in the
yeah,
woods with no
girl, what
land.
do you mean getting stuck? You walk out there, you said, "Oh, maybe a half mile." I'm not guarantee
I
you go out there
know.
about a mile and a
I
half, two
know.
miles.
See, but you know what? Hindsight's 2020. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And I'm already there, so I just chill.
So you know what? At least I can say she talks like me, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike laughed.
Oh, Lord.
Virgil's got Salt Fork confused with South Fork. He says South Fork.
Yes,
You're talking about Salt Fork, Ohio, not
Salt
South
Fork.
Fork,
It's I guess it's the way
JRUing
I'm
and all that
talking,
stuff.
right?
But the
It's funny. I really can't believe you go out in the woods like that. What do you do if your
Yeah.
flashlight dies?
What happened?
Yeah, what happens if your flashlight dies?
I got my phone. My phone's always
Oh
alive
my
and
God,
good
I'm watching
and
enough
juiced
horror
up.
movies. I know what happens.
Listen, I'm not gonna like trip on a branch or something running.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Then
until
we
you
die.
do, until you do.
Yeah, right. In the middle of the woods. Hello. Yeah,
That's
no.
funny as heck. So, what's
Yeah.
been your most scariest investigation?
I would say, I mean, I don't know. I got a couple. Probably the most, I don't know. See, because it's like two different categories. So, like, where I've actually encountered something and then like that feeling of fear. Um, I would say like the feeling of fear was definitely Waverly Hills. That I don't know why, just unsettling, scary. Um, but other than that, probably that guy telling me to leave the door open. That probably scared
Wow.
the Jesus out of me.
Right.
It
My mom used to work at Waverly Hills.
That's wild.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, because it was a nursing home at the end, and they
Hmm.
ran out of funding, so they closed. And I used to walk in there, and I remember when I was a little kid, the ceilings were so high,
Yeah.
and the tile, and I used to get gum. It was Wrigley's gum. Remember that gum, Mike?
Yeah,
You know,
Wrigley's gum.
yeah. And I used to get that out of the vending machine.
Wow.
So, and when I first showed her the show, I think it was Zach that went in there back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when he went down there and did Waverly Hills. She cried when she saw what the building looked like,
Yeah.
all the vandalism and the windows knocked out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's definitely a heavy location for sure.
yeah, let me ask you something. What do you think ghosts say, like at Waverly Hills? Do you think they're like, oh God, here comes Marina again? I'm just gonna stay
Probably.
in bed tonight, because all the
um
traffic. Do you think that all the traffic hurts it when you go investigate it?
I feel like it depends on how you treat the spot. Now, if you go in there being disrespectful and taunting, and yeah, they're that's going to irritate them. Um, but whenever I go anywhere, I like to remind them like this is your spot. You stay here. You don't come with me. I'm not gonna like do anything extra to irritate anybody. I try to keep that line there because I mean, at the end of the day, they were still a person at some point, so they still have those emotions. They still are intelligent enough um, to register that for sure. So,
Yeah, she used to play in the death tunnel all the time when she was a kid.
oh
So
wow,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's pretty wild.
And that death tunnel is the death chute is terrifying. They had us like standing in there for like 5 minutes with the lights off, absolutely silent. And they threw a ball, and you could just hear the ball just bouncing, and it would get further and further out, and then it would like bang on the door, and that's how you knew it was done. But it was long for sure.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it was really yeah. It's definitely a good experience for sure. Um, I feel like Um, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a very sad place, though. Like, it's just heavy.
Yeah, it really is.
It
Well,
is.
Twisted wants to know, have you ever seen a Bigfoot?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think Bigfoots are messing with you at Gettysburg. What do you think, Mike?
It
They could
sounds
be.
like it. I think they're there. I think they're messing around with you. But if they haven't, they're hard to see because they camo, they
Mhm.
blend, and maybe even some other things besides that. And they're hard to see, and
Yeah.
especially if you're not looking for them. But it sounds like it's all their characteristics of how they mess with people. It sounds like they're in the picture there too.
That's interesting. See, and I
So
never thought of that
yeah.
for sure.
And
That
you're
could be
walking around the woods with the flashlight.
Now listen, if it's a cornfield, I'm not doing that. I've seen signs too many times.
You never seen Children of the Corn? I'm good. That was a
No.
big movie. What year was you born?
I was born 96.
I was gonna
Oh
say
yeah,
she's a lot
that didn't
younger than
come
us,
out
Chris.
what to the 80s.
Children of the
Children of the
Corn
Corn.
was probably early '80s.
Yeah, that's why. Okay,
I've seen
I'll give
it,
you
but
a
no,
pass.
I think of signs like that little alien showing its legs.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So,
That
well, you're
movie
not
had
that bad. You're just so. I was 74, so that's what 84, 94, 22 years. So that's not too bad. Yeah, that's funny as hell. You got to watch Children of the Corn. She probably laugh at it now, Mike. Like,
I
Oh,
can't. I've seen it before.
she said she watched it. So
oh, so I'm a little slow. That's funny as hell.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just think like Signs, that movie, like I feel like a
Well,
lot of
that's a good
people,
movie too. Signs is
yeah,
Mel
that
Gibson in it?
movie is terrifying. That movie, I could not sleep for a while.
What do you
Mm,
mean? You live in the Appalachian Boot Hills, and you
I don't
got
know.
wild man hollering. You call the police. I'd love to be on that dispatch call.
I wish I could get it sent to me because that was we were serious too. Like we were like on the phone with the door like wide open, just like looking out there. And all you hear is like the cows going crazy. Like it was intense. It was Yeah, for sure.
come out and check out these sounds we're hearing.
Yeah, please.
They're like, hell no, we're not
Oh
going out there. We
Lord.
know what the hell it is.
Yeah, it's like a little country town. Like, yeah, they were not about it at all.
Oh,
So, do you
Uh,
have activity in your town where you living now?
yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think of like the nearest thing I can
What
think of.
town do you live in? Tell
I live
everybody.
in E-Town,
Yep.
Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's actually quite a bit.
I've
Like
been through
Waverly.
E-Town a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we met. We met at a convention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she come up and start talking about her investigation. I was like, "Hey, you want to be on a show?" She's like, "Huh?"
Well, Elizabethtown is just not too far above the Mammoth Cave region, so you got a lot of activity through there, Bigfoot wise. So you're close to the action.
That's a good point. Yep, that is a very good point. I've wanted to go to Mammoth Cave for so long.
You never been to Mammoth Cave? Oh my gosh, you'd love it.
Yeah,
It's
I
right down the
definitely.
road now. So
I
Yeah,
do
you'd love
know.
it.
I do know that there's this church that we were supposed to go to sometime last year, but it just kept on raining, and it's a hike, and like you have to like really go through some brush, and like you can't wear regular shoes. You got to wear like muck boots or something to get out there. But from what I heard, it's pretty creepy.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I feel like a lot of the stuff here is not as like mainstream as like Gettysburg or Waverly or like other stuff like that. It's like rural, like homey type areas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I always ask everybody that's involved in the paranormal, what do you think about these shows on TV compared to what you do?
Um, Oh, I have a hard time with that because some of them I like them and some of them I can't watch them because they're like, oh, did you hear that? When like someone just dropped a pen, like
What
right
was
before.
that? Good
Yeah.
gracious, Batman.
Yeah. See, and like just stuff like that, like I question a lot of things, and I like the shows that are like they question it with me. If they're like, oh well, this is what happened before all this, and like show like the whole area around, I'm with that. But if you're gonna
Right.
be like fake about it and like banging pots and pans in the corner of the room, like
Well, in in comparison to some of the Bigfoot shows, these people will go out into a known Bigfoot area, and then when they have Bigfoot activity, they act like they're shocked.
yeah,
Yeah, they do.
You know,
yeah,
and it's like what you're talking about with the, if they're going to investigate something they know is, the paranormal's been there for decades
mhm.
or whatever, and then they act like they're shocked if they actually find evidence. It's like,
Yeah, for sure. And it kind of like it. I feel like it invalidates them in a way. Like it kind of makes them look like they're making it up when they do stuff like that. When they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't expect that to happen." Well, I mean, you're in a haunted house. Like
Yeah,
you're sitting
right.
there taunting something. That's what I didn't understand. But for sure, there are some shows where I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I can get with that. And others, I can't have anything to do with them because I'll end up laughing the whole time.
Oh, I know. Some of them I watch because it's so hilarious. You gotta laugh. You
Yeah.
really do. It's so funny. You can't help from laughing. It's just like whatever, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I do know like one of my big spots that I want to go to if I ever get the chance is Skinwalker Ranch. I want to go there for sure.
Yeah, I need to actually invite them back on the show. It's been a while since I had people on Skinwalker Ranch on the show.
That would be
And that and
awesome.
Frog Ranch too. We had them on the show last year, so that's interesting as well.
Yeah.
So with
That
you
place.
investigating Gettysburg now and out in the woods with ovaries of steel, running around with a damn flashlight by yourself, I can't believe this, Mike. And now you know you're not alone with spirits and Bigfoot. How does that make you feel?
Um, I feel like there's like so much room for more possibilities for sure.
Right?
I feel like there's a lot of things that people tend to like turn their blind eye to because it makes them scared, it makes them uncomfortable. But there's a lot going on out there that we don't even realize.
It does make me uncomfortable. I ain't gonna lie. Why you think I'm bald? What's funny is I tell Mary, and she knows I'm not bald. I just shave my head for the hell of it. That's what's funny.
right.
I know.
What works?
So that's funny as heck. But Mike, what else do you have?
No, I'm enjoying this conversation because you can tie in how you're tying into two and stuff like that with each other, and it's interesting that like Gettysburg or certain areas you have them interrelated. The Sasquatches with the other spirit world, and it's just it's another interesting twist to the overall picture that we're trying to figure out.
For sure. You know what I just thought of?
What?
I wonder if like a Sasquatch has ever seen a spirit in Gettysburg and they're like, nope, I'm out. Like, what do they do if they see it?
It
'Cause
has to be.
I'm sure they see it.
But I don't think they'd be out if they're still there, though. They're probably just. It seems like
Like
these
coexisting.
Sasquatches they're cool with just about everything. They're like,
Yeah.
They ain't cool with me.
oh, come on, Grizz.
That's for damn sure. But it's interesting. Have you ever seen a full body apparition?
Not full. I've seen them in pictures, but not in like naked eye form, no.
Wow, yeah, that's the holy grail, right?
Yeah,
That would
be, I think.
awesome stuff for sure.
Yeah, yeah. What about shadow people?
Oh Lord, all the time, all the time. I know Gettysburg too. We were actually going up the stairs in the murder house, and all you could see, like on the back wall at the end, like at the very end of the stairs, was like just like shadows, just like shooting across the room. It was kind of like they were like trying to run to get out of the way. That was weird. And then I know Waverly, I want to say it's the second or third floor. Under like there's like this big old door, and it's like at the very end of the hall, and under the door you can actually see people like just walking back and forth, and it's like multiple people. And then there's a window, and like every once in a while you could see just the shadows like just going. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So what do you think shadow people are?
I think they're just spirits. I think they're spirits. That's it.
Do
Probably
you
would make sense.
yeah, do you get nervous when you see shadow people?
I feel like it depends on the energy. Like if it was like Waverly, for sure, that scared me because I mean I don't know if they're pissed, I don't know if they're happy, I don't know if they're sad. Like, so yeah, it's kind of like that unknown. That is a little scary. Now Gettysburg, I don't know. I haven't really encountered anybody that was like angry besides the guy telling me to leave the door open, which I overstepped that, being like, "Hey, close the door." Obviously, I don't want the door closed. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like I just lost my train of thought. I feel like it's just like any other type of person. You know what I mean?
Right.
A bit like that.
So I got to ask you a personal question. I'm not trying to embarrass you.
Let's hear
Do
it.
you run?
Do I run? Like if they scare me, am I like out the door? I'm trying to think. I don't. No. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah,
The only time
so
I ran like that was actually like a haunted house on Halloween.
yeah, Mary's like, man, we need to come invite her. My problem is, I don't know if she can keep up with me because I probably run down through the damn house or through the wall and make my own door. So, man, somebody whispers in my ear, I'll be like Yosemite Sam, the roughest, toughest shooting little grizzly you ever seen. I'll be blowing hose through the windows and doors.
Oh my Lord.
Somebody sneezed, not far off 15 rounds, probably.
Shoot
So,
first, ask questions later, right?
damn right. I know how to talk to police.
It's definitely spooky for sure.
Right? Isn't that something through something? So, Mike, I know I was sitting there, Greg, Kool-Aid guy. Thanks, Greg. I was not trying to read that out loud. Mary's over my shoulder. She's done with her spiritual healing. So, Mike, do you have any other questions or anything?
No, not really. I'm just I've really enjoyed this conversation. Though.
Yeah, it's been great.
Come back and see
great.
Us.
So will you be able to come back and maybe do another show on another channel, another date?
For sure. Yeah.
Awesome. And is there a way to people to reach out to you on Facebook to follow you in your investigations and stuff?
I don't really post them, but if I do, it's either on TikTok or on Facebook.
Yeah, how to reach you on Facebook and TikTok then?
Yeah, so my Facebook is just Marina Fox. Oh, you're welcome, Twisted. And then I cannot remember my TikTok. I do know that there's a couple videos on my Facebook that'll link you to my TikTok. So you can just click those and then it'll shoot you right over there.
Marina Fox.
Yes.
Yep, Marina Fox. That's awesome. And man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, check her out. And
yeah, for sure.
It made me laugh a lot. And ladies and gentlemen, ovaries of steel.
Oh,
I'm telling you. You never heard that?
I've heard it, but I've never been called that.
Well, you know what? We ever go out in the woods together, and I probably won't be able to run. I'll be so weighted down with military gear. And those things, these guys a damn flashlight in one hand, a phone in another. That cracks me up.
Well, don't worry, you'll get internet on that phone now.
That's right. That's right. So I'm excited. I really am.
Good
ladies and gentlemen, and Mike, just to let you know, I did something. Look at Mike. What'd you do, Grizzly?
What did you do?
I couldn't let Mary go. I asked her to marry me.
Hey!
Yeah.
Did she say yes?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Congratulations,
We
Griffin.
announced it on the last show, and she's
Okay.
she's too special. I had to
That's awesome.
snag her.
That is
So I
awesome.
meant to tell y'all in the green room, and I was like, might as well just
Well,
tell you on the air because we announced it on the last show. So
yeah, I'm very happy for you. And
yeah,
my wife and I will celebrate 36 years this summer, and we love it. So
that's awesome. You got to come to the wedding, Mike. That's for sure.
well, we would definitely do that.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure and check out Marina Fox on their Facebook and TikTok. And from coast to coast around the world, ladies and gentlemen, from our house to yours, Godspeed and take care and make sure and check her out. Mike, anything else you have?
Thanks a lot, Marina. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed interacting. Come back.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Oh, yes. And we're definitely going to have you back on another show. And we'll talk about some more experiences and also let you sit on that Bigfoot now, a possibility of Bigfoot experiences at Gettysburg. Isn't that crazy?
That would be exciting.
Well, thank you again for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, Godspeed and have a good night.
See you guys.